Hi everyone. So I've changed the format a little bit. I always feel like I change the format from time to time, maybe every 2 or 3 days now. And since things got a little bit faster for me in terms of recording, I have done several readings. I don't know that I'll do it, that I'll make videos for them, for all of them now, but I wanted to go over a question that, even though I really have no doubts on, a lot of people seem to have questions on. And I'll just remind you all that I've done a lot of readings now, and it's a good idea to go back over them because I've only started maybe 6 weeks ago. It like very late October was my first reading. So there's a lot of material, and I've covered a lot of it already, and I feel like I want to read some things. I've been doing sort of like redoing some of the people that I've already done before, and the result has been the same. The question about Republicans were Trump firing Mueller has come up, but if you look at the reading that I did, I think it's 34, something like that, about the timeline on the Mueller investigation. And there's another one, I think 29, about the Mueller and Mueller investigation. Nothing's going to happen to him from then. But in general, I suggest that you look back, just go to the channel and look at all the readings I've done, because I feel like sometimes the questions get like they're repeating, and I've already done readings on most of the people, I think. But since this is something that, even though I feel like it's not going to happen, a lot of people still feel like it could happen, let's just look at the state of the Republican threat or attack on Mueller, okay? And by the way, this is totally off topic right now. So ever since I started doing these videos, I noticed people started, when I first started, and I still wear those scarves a lot. People mentioned that I look like the Rosie the Riveter. And somehow I started watching these channels about 1950s hairstyles, and I realized I can't believe I didn't know this, but there's like a Latin subculture in the West Coast about women who like doing their hair in the 1950s style. Not just their hair, but that's what I care about. So I tried today for the first time. It's not really, doesn't look like it. Okay, unfortunately, it was the beginning. So I thought this would really work. I was like, I got really into it. I got the tools and everything. But this is the first time, if you can believe it, that I've ever curled my hair, because of course I already have curly hair. But it's kind of interesting, very fascinating. So anyway, so it's like I'm experimenting with looks. So I'm kind of enjoying this kind of slick wannabe 50s, 40s, whatever. Anyway, so going back to this reading, people wanted, everybody has this question about Mueller. Is he going to be able to conclude the investigation? Is it going to be fired? That's the question, okay? So I asked the question, will Trump and Republicans manage to fire Mueller? And as you can see here, I also asked, what is with all the talk? Because they seem to be talking and talking. And then, will he be fired? Okay, just because sometimes you really need to ask the question several times, okay, and see where it takes you. All right, so going here to this first line of questioning, I think no, he's not going to fire Mueller. What it's showing here is that, just quickly, there's a message. It's not mentioning anything. None of the cards in any of the other this or the other tabs showed anything related to firing, endings, anything like that at all. So it's a no, okay? And what I think this is showing me is how the investigation is going. So there's a message here. There's a message about an opportunity for the law. This is number one, is opportunity covered. Number two, the tower in this case means the law in terms of the legal investigation, okay? The government, the legal aspect of the government, which is concluding the investigation. And if we look at the card number 9, I think it's a really good sign for all of us, because it's showing that he is here, almost there. The card 9 to me signifies the last battle. It's when people, let's see, you can see it closely, but sometimes they're wounded and everything, but they keep going, and it's 9. So after that, there's 10. So almost there. So that's the stage of the investigation. That's what it's showing, okay? And it's a fantastic card to have in the middle, the center of the reading, number 3, which is Chariot. And Chariot is all about focus and winning. It's basically the power of the will, winning through discipline and achieving a goal. Okay, so it's very steadfastly working towards this goal. They're almost there. And the star card means expansion. So the investigation is expanding. Okay. And what I find interesting here, here number 4, position 4, you have the dog. The dog, obviously there's not one person right now that is the dog. It could mean loyalist to Trump, but I think because the reading, I asked the question and the reading is about whether they will fire Mueller. So Mueller, in a way, is the subject of the reading. I think that's him there. Okay, so the fool upside down to me means that the fool upside down means an actual fool and risks that are too dangerous. They're basically recklessness, okay? So it's showing in a way that it would be extremely reckless of them to actually go ahead and fire Mueller. I don't think it's going to happen. It's just saying it would be reckless. And then the dog, right next to the dog, is the positive transformation, a change. So the dog, I think, the dog I remember show. Oh, this is kind of interesting. I'm not saying, guys, whatever, that this is Obama, but Obama showed up as the dog when I did a reading about if Obama was going to come back. And the reason why I say this thing about Obama maybe or somebody else is because it ends with a transformation, a positive change and a transformation. And the dog is a person who can trust the good person. The good person brings this transformation. And there's a man underneath number 5. Who is this man? And I'm thinking to myself, he's a charismatic person who is not Trump. Like, he's balanced, okay? He's a good charismatic person in the good sense. So we can say that, yes, Obama is charismatic. And this person brings a transformation. This is what I didn't understand. I'm like, who's this person? Because we have the loyal, right? It's I think here it's Mueller, the loyal person who brings the transformation through a man here, whoever this King of Wands is. And I think it could be Obama. It could be somebody, okay? It's not showing that, it's not showing an ending to this government or anything. It's just showing that there will be a transformation. This good person is going to bring a transformation to us. And it's going to come or somehow is related to the form of this balanced, charismatic man. So that's what I'm seeing, guys. Okay, so no, definitely not fired. Expanding. Okay, expansion here, not fired at all. So the investigation is expanding. It's shining, really, right? It's achieving their dreams, really. The star and Chariot, very powerful, getting their goals done, achieving their goals. And the position, the 9 of Wands in position 2, which to me means they're almost there, where they want to be. Okay, so the end of it, the outcome will be a positive transformation. So moving on to something better. So that's where this is going to be. So now let's go look at here 2, the tab 2, which is what is with all the talk to fire Mueller. Okay, because I think the reason why people get scared is because if you turn on TV, that's all they talk about. Mueller this, he's horrible, he's this, da da da, all this stuff, blah blah blah. So what is showing here? What do we have? We have center, which is always the main thing about the reading, always the most important thing. The center, we have the birds. So the birds obviously chatter, talk, blah blah blah. An offer, okay, underneath. And to the left, we have plans. And there's a letter. And to me, because the question is about Mueller, to me that means an indictment. Okay, and there's a gentleman here. Who is this person? I believe strongly that this is Jared Kushner. Okay, because he showed up before. I've chosen him as before, and in the form of like when I did the readings about him and Ivanka, and I don't think that's Trump at all. He's never a gentleman, really, right? So I think what I see, what I read here is that if you compare, because in the three, if you have three positions, the 1 and the 3 are importantly mirror each other. Okay, so I believe this is a conversation about indictments, an indictment of Kushner. Okay, so Kushner is also probably related to this propaganda effort to malign Mueller. Okay, so he's like, let's be aggressive, right? The Knight of Swords, like, it's like ideas. So the plan to kind of be aggressive and be like the bully. I think, oh yes, I think this was a little bit like almost like a bully, yeah, like kind of like the plans, the propaganda plans. And in a way, I believe this is a sort of like an offer, right? It's saying that the talk is an offer to, and what is an offer in a way? It's a distraction, right? It's something that comes up as the situation is happening. There's an opportunity is presented. That's what the scene on number 2 is about, right? So we could argue that that's an opportunity or kind of really a distraction that's being offered in the form of talk, okay? Because it's not saying anything about it becoming true at all, okay? It's just showing something that it could be, it's probably a document to be an indictment because this reading is about Mueller and somebody who looks like could be Kushner and talk. So it's a distraction mechanism, essentially, okay? And then let's look at the third, which is also interesting. If we look at the third here, because I wanted to know, the first question was like, will they manage to fire? And I thought, you know what, maybe the question itself is not direct enough. I need to know will he be fired? Okay, will he be fired? That's what I want to know. So ask that. Okay, in the same from that pile, from these questions I asked. And the answer is really, will he be fired? No. Okay, and again, no. And why? Because we don't have any cards related to endings, to firings, to anything like that. What I see here is the heart, the Page of Swords, sort of following on the Knight of Swords that we had before, which is a kind of like a little plans, schemes, okay, little schemes, and the heart. So at heart, this is a scheming crowd. And what do we have number 3? The dotard, the older man, right? That's Trump right there. And underneath Trump, we have a card of delays, right? Upright, it means something going, quote, things going really fast, but underneath, what upside down, it means delays. So it's delays on behalf or for Trump. Okay, and why? We have the snake at the center. So these are snaky things, right? It could be Trump, it could be his associates, but that's his motive, right? I mean, not his motive. That's his MO, his modus operandi. Okay, so that's how he works. He's a sneaky person concocting schemes. So if we look at the snake, we see that underneath the snake we have the 4 of Pentacles reversed. So what does that mean, right? Well, that means a person who's greedy, holding on to money. So greedy. It's like because when it's not upright, it means a person who's not a risk, doesn't take risks, conservative with money. And holding on to what you have. So and upside down, it means the extreme of that. It means a person who is really greedy and is really worried about money, basically. And I think that's what's happening with Trump. He knows that his money situation is going to be targeted, and it's going to be the end of him, as we have seen in many of the readings that I've done, in direct and indirect ways. And that's all it is. It's a distraction tactic, okay, and it's a means of delay. I don't believe they have plans to actually fire him. It's just, what I think it really is, putting all these things together, the 1, the 2, and the 3, it's as if they're trying to create a narrative that will make whatever Mueller comes up with sound less credible. Because in a way, if I look at all of them now, let's look at the 2 and the 1, there's nothing here to suggest that he's going to be fired. Okay, there's nothing really very serious happening here other than the investigation expanding and being very much on track, succeeding and bringing on a positive transformation. Okay, so to me that just means they know what they're doing, right? In the sense that they're going to, as with most things Trump has done, he threatens a lot. He uses a lot of these, the same thing with Obama and Hillary. He uses that as a means to push for his agenda. So he's trying to, I don't know, scapegoat is not necessarily the full story. It's more like, let's try to make them look like they can't be trusted, which is like the most ridiculous thing I ever heard, because nobody could be like greater than Mueller, right? He's super qualified for this. But that's what we have. And we have the heart, basically at heart, he's a snake. And it's all the machinations of the older man here in the position 3. So that's really what it is. And no, he's not going to be fired. It's all talk to distract from an indictment, possibly of Kushner. And they will not fire Mueller. There's nothing here suggesting that he will be fired, okay? Honestly, nothing at all. So that's that. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye. Have a good week.